If you often find yourself overly invested in the everyday dramas of other people, one or two things is happening. If you're a person that does this, it's likely that going where you're needed feels more comfortable than going where you're valued and appreciated. The latter feels uncomfortable to you because you've been taught that you are only valuable when you are performing. And in reality, any space that requires you to constantly perform is not likely to be a space that allows you to feel nourished. If you are new here, my name is Kady, and this is the Feminine Hysteria Podcast pre-show. Here we discuss all things human nature, like community connection and forms of self-acceptance that have been demonized by society, and how to reclaim your humanity and improve your self-concept. If you dig that, subscribe. If you really dig that, join our mailing list. If you really dig that so much that you want to help on our mission to reach more people with this message, please consider joining our Patreon. Pre-season right now as we work to save up the funds required to produce a really good quality show, but we'll be here every single week on YouTube until we do that. And if you'd like to help us in that mission, please join us on Patreon, where you would get exclusive ad-free content and longer content, including the extended version of this episode. Diving right in, if you often find yourself overly invested in the everyday dramas of other people, one or two things is happening. One, as stated before, these are people that lack self-awareness to the point of always needing to be rescued. Therefore, they could never practice the kind of emotional intelligence required to empathize and support other people. Or two, we are inventing reasons to rescue others as a way to create a type of emotional debt that we expect to be repaid at a moment's notice without ever having received the consent of the person that we distributed the loan to in the first place. We may be so desperate for community and care that we try to manipulate reciprocal situations into being without waiting for natural opportunities to be supportive. Then we call it getting burned or loving too deeply. If you're a person that does this, it's likely that going where you're needed feels more comfortable than going where you're valued and appreciated. The latter feels uncomfortable to you because you've been taught that you are only valuable when you are performing. And in reality, any space that requires you to constantly perform is not likely to be a space that allows you to feel nourished. Nourishment comes from people pouring into you, being cared for, being kept. But most importantly, it comes from being allowed to rest. Any environment, be it family, work, or relationship, that doesn't allow you to rest is a desert. Leave it. It will broaden your entire view of relationships, community, boundaries, self, and self-worth. And nothing is worth the depreciation of your life perspective. That's the only thing that can keep you alive. If you've experienced anything like this, or you see yourself in this experiences, be sure to drop a comment below. Let's talk about it. If you're enjoying this video, make sure that you like and subscribe for more videos like it. As we start to think deeper about this concept of leveraging reciprocal or transactional relationships as a way to get our needs met, we also need to reevaluate our romantic relationships. Most of us aren't as interested in romantic relationships as we think. I think most of us simply don't know how to hold others accountable unless we can leverage sexual and romantic access against them. That is to say, we tend to believe that the pleasure center of the brain responsible for love and gratification is the most powerful motivator. We want security, we want insurance, we want to be able to predict the future of our happiness, joy, and safety. And the only way we know how to do it is by leveraging sexual connections. Something has taught us that emotional welfare is a luxury that we must pay for with our bodies. We don't seem to believe that existing within a community of non-sexual or non-familial persons will get our needs met. So we often don't invest ourselves in maintaining those connections. We are likely to fight, argue, simply repeat ourselves in romantic ships, or likely to go silent, or worse, simply dismiss friends and community members. Often because we don't want to be used and drained, which is a good thing. But in most cases, most of that drain is coming from an inequitable slant towards vying for romantic relationships to survive by any means. It must work, but it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The romantic relationship must work because without it, we have no mutual accountability. But we have no mutual accountability because we put all of ourselves into romantic relations to the point where we have nothing else to give to the community. Does that make sense? Trap ourselves there. Interestingly enough, it seems to be a phenomenon that primarily affects women. Men seem to believe in preserving a vast amount of regard, trust, and respect for their male relationships. They seem to prioritize community commitment over romantic commitment, which often becomes self-sabotaging as well. On one side, you have men who value community more than romance, so their romantic partnerships tend to fail. And on the other side, you have women who tend to value romance more than they value community. to the point where their friendship connections tend to suffer. Neither is correct. We need balance all around. Same child that needs a village to grow up becomes an adult that still needs a community to survive. This can only be accomplished by the fierce accountability of protecting oneself from undue strain in one direction or the other. It's a requirement that any and all that you connect with must treat you with regard, respect, and love at all times. Even when the money is low, even in disagreement, even when the money is low, even when spirits are low, even when spirits are depleted, even only on this bedrock of consistent love, respect, and care can trust thrive. Trust is needed to be able to understand that someone's just having a bad day and this isn't really who they are. If someone is always ungraceful in time of crisis, especially within communities that tend to experience crises more frequently, like marginalized communities, then you can never really trust them to be in community. That's not healthy to constantly have to shovel the burden of somebody's difficult days, even if what they're going through is valid. The way they treat you can be invalid. It will deplete you of your own natural reserve of self-love, care, strength, and integrity to the point where it's not healthy for you to be in the community. All of a sudden, you become the person that always is in a bad mood, is always unhappy, is always in crisis. You see how it becomes like this infectious cycle? You will be creating more harm by allowing this behavior to continue. When you hold the fundamental belief that you are good for the world, the protection of your emotional welfare becomes an act of community investment. Your joy, your peace, your love becomes a concern of world peace. And why shouldn't it be? Are you not a member of this world? Are you not a member of this society? Is your life less worthy than any other person's? World peace includes your peace. So why are you prioritizing the peace, the desire, the needs of other people over your own? And how can you serve others if your needs and wants are not coming first? How can you serve others if you are depleted? You buy a shirt from a naked man? You are the victim in a life that is lived to serve other people. And that's hard to see and that's hard to know. But once you know, you cannot sacrifice your peace and joy and love for anybody in this world. You cannot save anybody until you save yourself. Boundaries are not the enemy of community. Boundaries are how communities survive. So we need to really deconstruct this idea that the only way to be of service is to give our all and be depleted. You don't need to give your all. You need to give what you can give. And so you can go based on, you start by asking yourself, what is the most important community for me to be actively engaged in based on my goals? Should it be a career-based community? Should it be a identity-based community? Should it be a faith-based community? Should it be a location-based community? Whatever it is, pick based on whatever is most important. For me, it's okay, I want to live in a safe environment. So number one is my living community. And then next is the community of people that I work within, which also overlaps the community of people that I went to school with, because I want to be able to network with people that I have a background with, that I studied with, and I know that they know what they're doing. And so based on this list of things, that's how I prioritize where my energy and my focus goes. And then from there, I can look at what can I invest? Okay, maybe I can't invest money right now, but I can give time, I can give my attention, and I can give energy, and I can give feedback, whatever it is. Does that make sense? You have to find where you can contribute the most without exhausting yourself. And as you figure that out, you build up equity, experience, history, reliability, but authority within that community. And then one day when it's time for you to cash your check, which you shouldn't be looking at it like that, say something just happens, then yeah, no problem. You can use my dryer until you get a new one or you get it fixed, because I know you, there's familiarity, and I like you because you have always shown up as a person who cares about the welfare of this community long before you needed something. So you got to build up that equity, right? That's what it's about. If you want to learn more about the different types of communities, be sure to download that PDF below or check us out on Patreon. If you're enjoying this video, make sure that you like and subscribe for more videos like it, and be sure to check out our mailing list where you get updated on new episodes and bonus content, and check out our Patreon for exclusive access to this entire episode as well as bonus content. Be good, babies. Bye-bye.